What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. TammyTalks here. Let's talk Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 14, episode 15, Not Michelle Obama. If you are brand new to my channel, I do breakdowns on various TV shows, both scripted and reality, interjecting my own thoughts, opinions, and theories into each and every recap. So, if you enjoy that type of content, please consider subscribing to the channel, thumbs up the video, and then hopping into the comment section so we can talk about everything that happened on tonight's episode. All right. So tonight's episode picks up right where the last one left off at the dinner scene, where Kenya and Sheree are going at Sonya because they felt the way that they were not able to go to the iFit morning with her. We'll call it that. So when Ross stands up and he say, "Y'all not gonna fuck with my wife," he's standing up over these women. He's swearing a little, kind of loud. His tone was very much like, "Damn it." That's all he needed to say afterwards, right? So then he walks away from the table. Sanya storms off after him. Meanwhile, everybody else at the table was like, because why are you getting that mad about it? And I've said, I think in some of my comments, in some of the comments I've left on other people's pages, he knew that Sanya was wrong in that moment, right? Because Sanya clearly couldn't defend herself because she was wrong in that moment. And I'm not saying that Sanya had to stop what she was doing to check on them or anything like that, but I wholeheartedly believe that Sanya purposely didn't answer her phone. Sanya purposely didn't reach out to them. She didn't do any of that because, one, she was mad at Kenya for being late the day before. That's just what that was. Sanya's been very passive aggressive. We know that she's aligning herself with Marlo for whatever reason. She's like hyper focused, tunnel vision on rocking with Marlo. Like, it's stupid. The entire thing is stupid. So Kenya is still going off about how disrespectful it was. Candy then chimes in and says sometimes people get caught up in their work, right? And we don't always think to go check on other people and all that type of stuff. So Drew said, why is it that everyone's not being held accountable the same way that I am always being held accountable for the things that I say and do? And I was like, I agree with that. I feel like people are making a lot of I think people are making a lot of concessions for Sanya in this moment. Now, on one hand, I agree. Kenya and Sheree should have been down there at 9:25 to go, be on the bus. But I like Sanya's attitude about it is what's rubbing me the wrong way. And I feel like that's what's rubbing Kenya and Sheree the wrong way too. Like, Sanya has an attitude about it. It's weird. She's weird. We know this though. So Kenya said, why didn't Sanya kind of question how Marlo, who she didn't invite, was there, but the two people that she did invite were not? And I feel like that's a valid question though, when you think about it. If I invite person A and person B, they're not there, but person C, who was not invited, is there. I'm gonna probably, kind of question that a little bit too. But Sanya didn't think about it that way because as soon as Marlo was there, Marlo's in her ear. I'm glad I'm here to support you. I'm glad I'm here just because Marlo needs somebody to be a lackey to her. And Sanya's the perfect lackey. She's the perfect person for that. So Candy said that she just does not understand why they're making such a big deal about this, right? She said, "You guys went, you had fun on the catamaran. Like, why is this such a big deal?" Sanya is talking to Ross, and she's in her confessional, and she says that she feels that Sheree jumped ship. She thought that her, Marlo, and Sheree had a pact because we're 12. This is not the challenge. You don't need an alliance. The way that she's trying to form one. So she felt that they were the three musketeers, and the fact that Sheree is just, jumping on the the fact that Sheree is coming at her, Sanya just kind of feels now that Sheree is just going to kind of go, it's a net here. that Sheree is just gonna kind of go and do whatever and not really have her back. And I'm like, that's bull, because if you are a person and I'm supposed to be your friend, I should be able to call you out when you're doing something wrong. You know what I mean? And I feel like so many people, so many, time and time again, we hear about people who say that they have these friends. You're my best friend. You're my rollie. You rock it with me, but they don't want to be held accountable for the things that they may or may not have done wrong. And I think that that is Sanya's biggest thing. She wants to be able to say whatever she wants and do whatever she wants. But the moment that you say something back against her, oh, you're not my friend. You're not being my friend. You jump sides. Being your friend does not mean that I'm going to appreciate that. Yeah, I'm going to appreciate and encourage your bullshit either. That's not how that goes. Drew back at the table feels that Sanya should own what she did. I agree. So the next morning, Sanya texts Marlo and asks her to serve as host while she's working with iFit. We see her get on the bus and she leaves pretty early. Sheree talking to someone on the phone. I didn't catch the subtitle, but she's talking to her people about the her fashion show that she has coming up. Like the samples aren't ready. There's the issues with the fabric. She now has to change the venue. She's 3 weeks out. 3 weeks out. She hasn't had a model car yet, and she doesn't have her samples yet. What are we doing, Sheree? She by Sheree is not happening, y'all. I know y'all hoping for it. She by Sheree ain't coming at all. So Sheree actually, after that, she goes and heads over to iFit. Sanya set up a car for her. They talked the night before, and she knows that Sheree really, really wanted to come, so she wanted to make sure she was able to get there. When Sheree finally gets there, Sanya is like wrapping up the shoot. She's done with everything. Sheree missed everything. Now, it's funny to me how Sheree has missed everything, but Sanya's just okay with it. Oh, it's not a big deal because Sanya's real issue is with Kenya. And if your real issue is with Kenya, tell her. Tell her. So Sheree said that her driver got lost, but they're going to go and have some lunch. So Marlo is trying to host. And Candy is like, why would she have somebody who doesn't even get along with everybody here? Why would you have her as the host in your absence? And I'm like, it makes perfect sense to me. So Marlo's trying to tell everybody they're going to go whitewater rafting. So let's go ahead, let's get up and head over towards so we can get on the bus. No one's listening to her. Kenya walks away to go get some water. Like Candy's like doing whatever. Todd is on the phone. Marietta's husband is eating. Nobody is paying attention to her because nobody likes Marlo because Marlo keeps up shit, basically. So Sanya is talking to Sheree and said that she felt bad about the misunderstanding. She feels that Kenya is pulling back from being cool with her because she's getting so close with Marlo. And Sanya feels that we should be able to have all these different, facets and all these different friendship groups and it not affecting everyone else. So Sheree tells Sanya that Kenya's going to keep coming at her and coming at her and coming at her unless she finally and utterly shuts it down. And if she's not able to do that, it's going to be a very long season, basically. So they're at lunch, and Sheree is already there. So they're like, oh, is this where iFit was? Sheree tells the table that, yes, Sanya apologized, and she invited me out here today. Kenya kind of looks saucy. Kenya is salty. She is. But Kenya says in her confessional, I don't feel away. No, I don't feel away. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Because it's written all over your face. But Kenya said that she's not salty. It just shows how Sanya deals with conflict. So the fact that Sanya was like, we'll go and talk to Sheree first and not say anything to her exhibits how she deals with conflict. Kenya, you're salty because you wanted to go, but that's fine. All of a sudden, some of the birds start pooping all over the table and stuff. So Marlo was like, let's go eat by the pool. Let's go eat by the pool. And like nobody gets up and follows with her. So, Marlo is having a really hard time hosting. And it's because Marlo doesn't get along with everybody that's there. So eventually everybody starts to kind of trickle out one by one. Candy, Kenya, and Todd walk past where everybody's sitting and they go to like the little bungalow. And Todd said, we don't sit in general admission. I said, okay. So Marlo starts venting to Sheree and Mariana, and she kind of rehashes the fight that she had with Candy. Sheree said that Candy overstepped her boundaries and inserted herself in a situation that did not involve her. Mariana is trying to be the adult in the situation, and she's like, no, I don't think Candy meant it like in that way. But Marlo said that she's taking her own accountability and she thinks that everybody should be taking accountability too. Marlo is hanging on to this. Candy threw something in my face that I'm going through. Kenya's going through a divorce though. And every chance that Marlo gets, she mentions Mark didn't want you, just like your divorce, huh? Your mama didn't want you. Like Marlo does this, and it's like it's hard for anybody to kind of feel sorry for Marlo when you have been such an awful person. So it's weird to me how Marlo kind of doesn't sort of somewhat understand that. It's odd, very odd. So after lunch, they go whitewater rafting. When it's really them sitting on this like beautiful raft where they have like champagne and drinks and like flowers and everything, and it's someone else that's like doing the rowing for them, right? Doing the rowing for them. So they are looking like, oh, okay, because they thought they was gonna get some action going. So Marlo has this big ass Chanel bag with her that's inside of a plastic bag, and she's like, "I have clothes and baby wipes and makeup and perfume," and it's like, for what? For what? You getting musty sitting on the raft that you gotta put that on, and if you are, perfume shouldn't go on top of it. So Sheree is riding with Kenya, and Sheree tells Kenya that she needs to talk to Sanya, telling her that Sanya expressed some like remorse for the way that she kind of handled things in regards to her. So maybe if the two of them talk, maybe they'll come to some type of resolution as well. Kenya said that she feels away because of the way that Ross stood up and was like aggressively cursing at them. She felt bad for herself because she didn't have somebody right there to like come to her defense too. And I feel like the reason that Ross did do that with Kenya in particular is because Kenya did not have a man that was there with her that was going to defend her. Because he wouldn't have talked like that to Candy. He wouldn't have talked like that to Mariana. He wouldn't have talked like that to Drew because they had their husbands there. And I feel like that's kind of a punk bitch ass move on Ross's part too. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of a known fact on any of these housewives shows. The housewives, Love and Hip Hop doesn't matter. But on these housewife shows, whenever a man interjects into an argument with the women, it never bodes well for like the fans and just the rest of the women on the cast. They look at you a certain way. They look at you a certain way. So Sheree is like, well, it wasn't aggressive. It wasn't aggressive. It was. And I know that we hate to call black men aggressive. Me being black myself, you hate to call black men aggressive. You hate to call women crazy. You don't want to put that type of stigma on somebody. But Ross handled that in a bad way. On top of the fact that you stand up, when you stand up like that over a woman, it looks away. It does. Whether he meant it to be that way or not, it definitely came across in a negative way. So Sanya is meanwhile riding with Marlo, and she said that she's just tired of Kenya being passive aggressive. Kenya's very passive aggressive. She is, but I also know that like there's a way to deal with passive aggressive people, and the way that they are choosing to deal with Kenya is not the way to handle a passive aggressive person. It's just not. So we're getting ready for dinner. This is probably like the last dinner of the trip. And Kenya goes to see Drew, who has her makeup done, but she says she's not going. We know that Drew ruptured her Achilles. So Drew probably should have just went home. But now, you can't be on too much medication, no painkillers before flying because you can't thin out your blood that much to stop the pain. So she's like, Drew is sitting there in pain and she can't do anything about it because she needs to be able to fly the next day. So Mariana goes to talk to Candy, and she tells Candy that she had a talk with Marlo, and Marlo was just expressing how, hurt she was, and she feel like Candy did this. And Candy is like, this is what Marlo does. She throws the rock, and then likes to hide her hand, and she wants people to just kind of get over it after she done threw him in the fucking face with a rock. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she wants people to kind of just move on from it because she has. And Candy said that's not gonna work this time. So then we're at dinner. Candy and Marlo have on the same top. Candy's is black, Marlo's is green. Everyone is wearing black, green, and gold to fit the theme of the island, the trip. Sanya said that she thought it would be a nice way to just kind of show respect for the island. So Kenya comes in and said, I almost bought that same shirt. That's the Alexander McQueen. Almost bought it. So could have been a threesome, a throuple, if you will, with the same shirt on. So Sheree then brings up, who has no voice whatsoever, Sheree brings up that Marlo wanted to have a conversation with Candy. So Marlo X Candy if she knows why she went so low. And Candy is like, no. So Marlo said that she felt that Candy told her business in front of everyone. Candy said she made a statement, a true statement, whether you liked it or not. So then Marlo was like, I made a true statement. And I'm like, Marlo, this is what we're talking about with you. Candy is trying to tell you something, trying to have a dialogue with you, and you're so defensive. I cannot stand talking to defensive people. I can't. Because if you ask me a question and I'm trying to respond and give you advice or an answer or a reason or explanation, you cutting me off to be defensive about yourself is not going to help, because then I'm not going to do it at all. And I'm going to tell you, I don't know, then G, you got it. That's exactly what's happening with Marlo. Because the moment that Marlo said that she was being true too, I would have said, you know what, Marlo, we're good, we're done. And that would have been the end of the conversation. So Candy does apologize for saying it in front of everyone. She said, but she wasn't talking about her nephews. And see, Marlo likes to take, when they make a statement about the fact that she sent her nephews away, and they're making a statement in a comment about her and her parenting, she likes to make it seem like, oh, you guys are talking about my nephews. That's not what happened. No one's talking negatively about those boys. Not one person is. So Marlo then says that she doesn't want her nephews brought up in a negative way again. She says she will not bring up Todd again. Everybody apologizes. They decide to move on. They will still support each other in the future. Russ gets up and leaves the table. Said he has an early morning. What that really means is that the men were summoned to leave the table so that we can get one last fight, one last argument on this trip. So production went around and tapped all the men. Hey fellas, y'all can go ahead on back. Y'all can clack out for the night. So they are sitting around and they're like, oh, okay, so let's have some fun. Let's do some talking. Let's talk for a little bit. And Sanya has this look on her face. And everybody was like, okay, well, Sanya's tired, so let's not. So then Sanya would say, no, I have no problem laughing and talking, but what's up, Ken? What's up, Kenya? And Kenya was like, what's up? You said that like a guy. Sanya wants to know, she said she feels like Kenya has something to say. Sanya feels that whenever she's talking, Kenya disengages. She's like, and you're down on your phone. Kenya said, I don't even have my phone out. My phone is in my bag. So Sanya is like, well, you disengage whenever I'm talking. You're looking down, you're looking around, whatever the case. And Kenya just rolls her eyes, but it is true, Kenya. It is true. You do disengage whenever Sanya is talking, but I feel like it's because Sanya has been very passive aggressive. Sanya is the passive aggressive person, and Sanya has done and said so much stuff that like Kenya just don't want to be bothered with her. So Sanya then said that Kenya is very ungrateful, and she's been very gracious this entire trip. So Kenya is like, okay, look at the ego at this table. I wouldn't say she's been ungrateful. Somebody being late, I feel like they let Kenya being late bother them too much. I do. I mean, Marlo was mad Kenya showed up late there. Sanya, you're mad Kenya showed up late. Like, why are y'all letting one person stop the show? That's what I don't understand. Why are y'all letting one person, why are y'all making it into such a huge deal? It don't even take all that. It doesn't. So Kenya is trying to talk, and Sanya kept talking over her, and it starts yelling. The conversation is over, then it's over. So Kenya tells her that you're acting just like Drew. You're doing the same thing that you feel that Drew was doing to you. And I'm like, that's true. Sanya doesn't see that though. So when she hears that back, she kind of gets quiet for a minute and then she just keeps going. So Kenya said that her attitude is in the toilet. Sanya feels that Kenya has been dismissive towards her. Kenya said it is not her fault that she is inarticulate in the way that she explains herself, and that's why no one ever knows what she's talking about. And I agree. I agree. Sanya is a very inarticulate person. She's not able to put words together quickly so that we understand what the hell is going on. So there have been a couple of moments where, like the whole issue with Drew, nobody understood why Sanya was mad at Drew initially. Everybody was like, "The fuck is going on? What you mad about?" Like nobody understood, and I feel like in this moment, Sanya was doing the same thing. See, Sanya's whole way of arguing is just yelling, turning on her accent, getting loud, and then feeling like that's supposed to scare people off. She's not a match for Kenya. She's not. So Kenya then asks her, tell me a time where I was dismissive or when I was rude or whatever to you. Sanya said, well, you hung up on me. Kenya said, yes, we talked about that. I apologize. You apologize. We moved on from that. Give me another example. Sanya said, well, I can't think of one. And I'm like, what? You're supposed to have these at the top of the dome. They're supposed to just be flying out your head, flying out, flying out. There's nothing worse than a person that's not witty, trying to be in the argument with somebody that is. And this was painful to watch. So Candy and everybody's kind of laughing because it's like, girl. So Kenya said from now on, if you say you're going to move on from something, let's move on from it. If you truly feel a way, come to me. Let's talk about it. Okay? Let's talk about it. But like, don't keep, harboring on things that you really and truly haven't, moved on from. So Kenya then says that she respects very few people, and everybody was like, it's not the way to do that. Kenya admits that came out wrong. I kind of get what she's saying, but it's a fucked up way to say it. But they agree that they do like each other. They are, you're my type of girl, blah, blah, blah. So they're going to try to work on their friendship. It's not going to last. I can feel it. Not going to last. So then Kenya asks if she got her birthday cake because I guess Kenya's birthday is in like the next couple of days. Sanya did not get her a birthday cake. She didn't give a damn about Kenya's birthday. Only charades. So then before the episode goes off, Marlo tells us that they say that KFC in Jamaica is, way better than the States. Marlo got a bucket of chicken in the airport. Candy walked by and was like, I'm mad at you, but I want some chicken. And that's how the two of them made up because Candy is going to eat if she don't do nothing else. So let me know how you guys felt about tonight's episode. Sanya's getting on my nerves. I don't know how I'm gonna last our season with Sanya. She is absolutely doing so much and for no reason. But if you have not already, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, thumbs up the video, hop in the comment section, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.